What's popping? What's popping? What's popping? All right, so webcam's working. Yep. Microphone is working. Microphone checker. Page my selector. No, it's playing. I don't even know those words. But you are not watching Juke Boy Sports Show. I am your host, Kyng Ralph, here with another solo dolo show on this beautiful Tuesday evening. Um, Night's game should be wrapping up. Let's see what we're looking at here. It was a good game. That was a hell of a game. We went down 0-2. Then we went up 3-2. We go up 4-3 or 3-3. It was 3-3. We go up 4-3. It is tied at 4. In the end, I came in here with about 4 minutes left in the game. We get the dub. We get one goal. Take game 1 in Carolina. Y'all already know what it is. You know what it is. Vegas in it thing. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna cap. I'm a Blackhawks fan, but like we're trash. So I lived here majority of my life. So Golden Knights it is, baby. But hope you all are having a good night out there. Good evening out there in TV land. But before we get into everything, like we always do, I'm talking about use promo code JUK, Juke, promo code Juke at W.com, DUBBY.com, W.com for 20% off. We're going to get you right. And wherever you're here from, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, all that good stuff. Talk to me. You know I talk back. I don't know why I sound that Southern. That was crazy. But hope everybody's doing good out there. We got a good show ahead of us. So Western Conference Finals wraps up. So we got Spurs, Knicks, Thunder. In my last show, you would have saw that the Thunder had a 3-2 lead in the series going into Game 6. Spurs take Game 1. Hey, boo. Spurs take Game 1. I mean, not Game 1. Spurs take Game 6. And then they end up taking Game 7. Thunder go home. Spurs go to the finals. Knicks were already there after sweeping the Cavs, making quick work of them, doing it in very dominant fashion. But before we get to the NBA Finals and the Spurs, where do the Thunder go from here? This is a big summer in all season for them, and you gotta, like I mentioned in the last show, Chet makes an All NBA team. And now it's time to pay him. Do you pay him that 40 mil? Do you pay him that 50 mil? Because I think he could get 45, if my memory serves me correctly. I think he could get about 45. So do you pay him? Because and I was in the Discord and in my group chats defending you, bro. So I did what I could, man. But at this point, I gotta be honest about what I saw on the court, and you gotta know, Chet, like you just didn't hold up your end of the bargain at such a high draft pick, but also what you bring to the table. It was like for you to have that defensive prowess, being able to move them puppies side to side. Nobody can kill you with lateral movement unless it's Wemby, and it's like you look like a different player when Wemby is out there. So it's like to me, is he a number 2? But this is one of them things where I think Chet ultimately is going to be at a crossroads. It's because some players will never come back from this. It's mentally they shot. Like Nick Anderson missing them free throws in the finals and just was never that guy ever again. Now he wasn't like a superstar, but he was a very high quality role player on a very good team. And I think that this could end up being where Chet goes down that road, or Chet could come back in and it's like, dang, Chet looked like he put on some muscle over the offseason. And so I think it's one of them things. Where does Chet go from here is where the direction that the Thunder should go in. I think you got to have a legitimate conversation. The buzz and how much traction this is getting. The idea looking to trade Jay Williams. You got some questions. It's like, what do you do with Dort? You bring in Jared McCain. So what do you do with him? Cason Wallace, Isaiah Hartenstein played his ass off, gave Wemby like as much as he could give at the end of the day. Float in the lane, being able to distribute, be a playmaker to a certain degree, and be a tough defender. If I'm the Bulls, shoot, I'd take a look at that. You gotta at least, leave no stone left unturned. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but where the Thunder go from here, I don't think you do anything crazy. Not gonna go crazy, man. Not gonna go insane. Start, not trading anybody, but you do got to have some honest conversations here. And I think that Chet can turn things around, and not having AJ Mitchell as well as Jalen Williams, who were two perimeter defenders as well as perimeter offensive players, that could have helped out in the end. And SGA had to do too much. I'm not putting this on SGA at all. I know at the end of the day, he's a back-to-back MVP. He was looking to try to be a back-to-back Finals MVP and championships, but I don't think that you put any of this on him. He did what he could, given the lack of help that he was getting. Like outside of Game 5, I don't really see Chet. Chet didn't really give you much. Getting like 12 and 5 from a guy that's supposed to be your number 2, if not number 3, and a number 2 overall pick at that. Yeah, nah, I just can't get jiggy with it. But shout out to the Spurs, man. They did what they needed to do. They got a good young core with Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, and Wemby. Then when you bring in Carter Bryant, you still got De'Aaron Fox. What do you do with that? That could very well be a trade that brings you back some more role players, some more depth at certain positions. Cornette, that block that he had at the end of Game 7, very well saved their season. Because at that point, I think the Thunder were coming back. Hartenstein had made some big plays. We're trying to keep him in the game, and Mac off the backboard, and now the Spurs gain momentum or keep the momentum going in their favor, and now they're in the NBA Finals. And so I think Champagny, as well as another good young piece, Castaway to some degree, found his niche. 3-and-D type of guy, knocked down, high clip off the catch and shoot. Got to work on the ability to create his own, but these are things that once you start to trust the shot, now you can start to, people kind of have to bend to your will at a certain degree. But all the Spurs, the team to beat in the West, I think yes. I think Wemby having that dog in him, like a lot of players. I think one of the things that people can appreciate about Wemby is all the players kind of train together in the offseason. You see players from different teams kicking it for whatever ties that they have. But if you think about like the days in the past, like KG talks with a lot of admiration for the Dirks, the Pau Gasols, the Tim Duncans, the power forwards of his era. But at the end of the day, on that court, it was kill or be killed. And nowadays you see a lot of players kicking it, hanging out, that like they joking, they covering their mouth, cracking jokes with the other team before and after the game. And it's like Wemby got that dog in him where it's like, yeah, no, we not friends. I'm here to get this win. I'm trying to get this, I'm getting buckets, and I'm finna destroy you. I want to snatch your will. And that's what you can appreciate from a player like Wemby, where if he's going to be the best player in the league, he's pretty much a 7'5" guard. Like that is cheating, low key. Like you couldn't have created a more dynamic basketball player in the lab. The closest thing to it is like when LeBron came. Someone that fast, that large, and that athletic that's cheating. Him coming downhill, there's nothing that you can do to stop that. The same thing with Wemby. Wemby pulling up from logo threes at 7'5". That's not fair. You know what I mean? There's nothing that you can do about that. So in the end, yes, I think that the Spurs are the team to beat. I do think that the Timberwolves, Nuggets, depending on, I don't know. I just don't see the Lakers. I'm not even gonna put them in this conversation. They got a lot of work to do. Timberwolves, Nuggets, as well as the Thunder. At the end of the day, those are the teams, along with the Spurs, that are just, they're going to continuously be in this conversation. We'll see what happens with the Lakers. You got Luka, and it's the LA Lakers, and then you mess around and you got Cooper Flag with the Mavericks, #1 overall pick, played really well this past season. We'll see what happens with them, but Nuggets, Timberwolves, Thunder, and the Spurs are going to be in this conversation on a year in, year out basis, and I'm looking forward to it. I think we're in a good spot with the NBA and where we're at right now. Who is the favorite? After saying all of that, it's tough right now. I hate to say it. I really don't want to, but I do got the Knicks winning the NBA Finals. I went into it last week talking shit, but now that we're here, I gotta face the facts. It's sometimes you say stuff and you're wrong. Spurs, I was wrong. I definitely thought that the Thunder were gonna win in 7. So it got to the game I thought it would happen in, and then it just didn't go the way I thought it would happen. But hey, that's what happens when you're making these analysis. It's not always gonna go your way. You got to be able to stand on it and be like, "Hey, I said it though." You know what I mean? But Knicks in 6, I think ultimately, when you think about everything, matchups included, how the teams have been playing as of late, and history, the one team that the Spurs have really had struggles with is the Knicks. When you have Cat, who can stretch the floor, is probably the greatest shooting 5-man or big man ever. The ability that they've been playing, where they've been playing him like in a Draymond type role offensively, where he's creating offense, distributing, more of a distributor than an attack man. Brunson being able to get to it, get a bucket, he can go off for 30, 40 on a nightly basis in these playoffs, especially the way he gets after it. I know we talk shit about Shea. Shea is, as of lately, been a little bit more egregious in his flops, but Jalen Brunson be out there flopping too, like fish out of water. Like, at the end of the day, we got to be honest here. We got to be real. You got to keep it a buck. And Jalen Brunson be out there flopping, man, fish out of water. But he can hoop. Now, can Castle, Harper win, and De'Aaron Fox, when given the matchup, can they exploit that deficiency? Because at the end of the day, Jalen Brunson is a more stocky guy, but short in stature, and that's the part that worries me the most. When it comes to the Knicks' chances, you got Mikal Bridges, who is another 3-and-D guy, very good defender. You got OG Anunoby, who's more of a slasher, more impactful going to the rim than Mikal Bridges, but another 3-and-D guy. Physical. I seen the stat where it was like per 100 possessions, who was the best defender on Wemby since Wemby's been in the league, and it's been OG Anunoby. And so Mitchell Robinson, another person with length, athleticism, that they can throw at Wemby. I think that they can match up here, and that's why, for me, I think the Spurs don't get it, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think at this point it can go either way. I wouldn't say one person is a clear favorite. I'm just, if I had to pick who I would put my money on, it's the Knicks. Yeah, I look forward to it though. Game starts tomorrow, I believe 5 o'clock Pacific time, not to be confused with specific, but I look forward to it, man. Myles Garrett was traded, very big trade. In the end, it doesn't even matter. No, I was playing. In the end, they give up to the LA Rams. He did get traded to the LA Rams. Myles Garrett to the LA Rams. Cleveland Browns are getting Jared Verse, a first-round pick in 2027, a 2028 second round, and a 2029 third round. And the Rams get Myles Garrett. Who won the trade? I think this is one of those situations where outside of the Browns getting one more first round, I would have liked to see them to get at least one more first round. Because the way I look at it, yes, Jared Verse did not finish his 2026 campaign the way he probably would have liked to finish it. I kind of give some benefit of the doubt to players who, one, have high upside, while two, kind of showing you some flashes of that upside. It's not like you're expecting him to do whatever, or he's just giving you whatever. He's not trash. Stephen A would say he's not a scrub. So I think what you essentially got is a player who could potentially be a top 10 edge rusher. You have, which is a first middle of the pack or middle of the round, first round overall draft pick. You get a first round in this draft coming up, and then you get the second round and the third rounds. When you start to think about it or really dive into where players were selected, a lot of times teams or and organizations are drafting first through third rounders with the potential or the expectation of them starting in a year or two at max. Where a lot of first rounders, you're expected to come in and impact right away. If not, I'm gonna give you one more year. And at that point, we gotta have a conversation here. And this is where I think that Jared Verse is at. You are put. You had a position where I think he even made a Pro Bowl his rookie season, and was the defensive rookie of the year. Then you follow it up with a decent campaign, kind of downward on your way down, to be honest with you. But at the same time, 12 sacks in the first two seasons. There's players like Benito who just went crazy in his fourth or fifth year. First 2 years, I think he had 10 sacks. Um, if you go and you look at like a Josh Allen, Hines, you look at his numbers. There's some players that they just don't pop right away. It takes them a couple years. They figure it out. They get the opportunities, and now it's go mode. And this is where I think that for me, I think it's a wash. I think the Browns had Myles Garrett. He had 5 sacks in the game, and they lost by at least 19. So at a certain point, yes, you have this dominant figure, but you're not doing anything with him. And out of respect for him and what we also need, I'm gonna go ahead and send you to a contender. They gonna give me 3 potential starters and a fourth legit starter in Jared Verse, who's going into is this is his contract time here. You got to start getting in the contract mode so you can get that payday. So I don't have a problem with it. I think it's a wash. I do think that the Rams are getting the best player, defensive player. Um, I think outside of like Aaron Donald, that's the only person in the last like 20, 15, 20 years that I could say is on Myles Garrett's level. I know JJ Watt, TJ Watt exist and live in this world, but me personally, from what I've seen, I just think Myles Garrett is on another level than JJ Watt. You know what I mean? So, but I think the only person that could possibly be above is Aaron Donald because of the level of dominance in an 8 year span. And he left in a time where he still was, it was still up. So I think for me, and to think about whether or not there's been talks about Aaron Donald coming back is fucking wild because them two on the same line, I don't care how old Aaron Donald is at this point. Have you seen him lift weights? Shit's crazy. And so AJ Brown traded to the Patriots. It's been talked about for a good minute now. We're officially we're done with it, y'all. I'm happy to hear it. I was getting tired of it. This nigga was reading books on the sideline with his helmet on. It's like, nigga, you look like a pouting child. Like, just go ahead. Y'all send him his way. And so with that, I hate the package that the Eagles got. I think at the end of the day, you just kind of get rid of them, see what you can get. Getting a first round for someone that you know doesn't absolutely, without a doubt, unequivocally wants to be there. First round in next year's draft and a fifth round pick which I think is in this year's draft. For the Patriots, it's a great thing. Eagles definitely lost this trade. So with that, does this trade make the Patriots the favorite to return to the Super Bowl? I think yes. In the AFC, I think that outside of like the Broncos, because I really think as much as I talk shit about Bo Nix, you put Bo Nix in the mix with that AFC Championship game, or getting to the AFC Championship game, and it just looks differently, in my personal opinion. That fluky ankle being broken, it was wild. I think that the Broncos would have gave the Patriots the biggest run for their money that anybody else could have. So between the Patriots and Broncos, I think that this is where I would probably lean. AJ Brown. You swap out AJ Brown for Stephon Diggs. I mean Stephon Diggs for AJ Brown. You still got Keyshawn Butte. And then they just brought in Romeo Doubs from the Packers. And then Ramondre Stevenson, TreVeyon Henderson. I just think that you put yourself in a position where as long as you can keep Drake May upright, I feel like you're going to be fine. As long as they attack the offensive line, I think defensively they were really good. They were kind of stout on defense, being able to create turnovers, get after the quarterback. Mike Vrabel's going to keep them playing tough football. And so as long as Drake May can stay upright, protect the football, I don't see why they can't, to be honest with you. JJ McCarthy is seeming a little salty. You know, when you watch his interviews, the sodium levels is kind of high. You know what I mean? Kyler Murray being asked about coming in and how his relationship is with JJ McCarthy. He seems all flowers, rainbows, and butterflies. You know, I'm gonna come in here, I'm gonna be a mentor, and I'm gonna be just someone that he can come ask questions. He asks questions. We have a good relationship. And it's like JJ McCarthy is like, nah, bro, we just two quarterbacks in the same room, but on different sides of the room, trying to see who can be the best one. And it's like, should he feel some type of way? No. I think that he has the right mindset that at the end of the day, regardless of how good Kyler Murray has been in the past or how bad he's been, he was brought in to be his replacement or give them some kind of insurance in case JJ McCarthy start wetting the bed. And last year he did. You think the year before, you got a TJ Hawkinson, you got a Justin Jefferson, you got a Jordan Addison to throw the ball to. You have a decent offensive line, and you had some good running backs that Sam Darnold was able to flourish with. And then you come in, they let Sam Darnold go. We got our guy coming in, and the guy played like trash. He was garbage. He was pretty terrible. You know what I mean? And so Kyler Murray comes in, and now he gives you some kind of insurance. He would not be here if you didn't play like shit. So no, you should not feel away. But I do think he has the right mindset, thinking that this is a competition, and I got to go out there and do my best to be able to show that I'm the guy that they need to go to, that we're going to ride out into the sunset with. And then top NBA prospect, Caleb Wilson, 3-man, 4-man, kind of tween KG comp that they give him out of North Carolina. A lot of mock drafts have him going to the Bulls, but it's been said, and he's been on record as saying he wants to be a Chicago Bull. And this makes me excited. I'm not going to lie. I think that when we start to think about the team that we have and what we're looking at, if you got a Josh Giddey, who is a big point guard, playmaking triple-double threat every damn game, you got Mathis, and then you got Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson is like a 6'9", 6'10", very athletic. Loki got that dog in him. Been compared to KG when it comes to like his intensity and the way that he plays the game. Kind of like a young KG, like when KG was more of like a 3-4 tweener. And I think that that's something that I can get behind at the number 4 pick. I understand. Yeah, it would be cool to have AJ DeBonta. It would be cool to have Darren Peterson. I think Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer are the same level of player, or at least same level of prospect. I think that Caleb Wilson has a higher upside, where Cameron Boozer is just more ready right now. And so, given that, not necessarily sure how things are going to go, I do believe the mock drafts where pretty much it's going to be Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson for us at 4. I'm okay with that. So, I kind of rock with it. But Caleb Wilson would be my choice, given where we're supposed to draft at and how things might go. I'm okay with that. I love the fact that he wants to be there. I think that we have 2 point guards that could get him the ball. Montes can swing down to the 3, so we have a taller lineup, and then we just try to figure out what we're going to do at that 5th slot through free agency as well as through the draft, and we rock out until we can try to find a 2 or figure out what we're going to do with Josh Giddey. Are we keeping him? Is he going to be our point guard of the future? But I don't know. I'm not necessarily sold. I know the triple doubles is great and everybody loves the triple doubles and the stuff like that, but you got to play some defense. And being a liability at such an important position where, yeah, you can make them work on offense while you're on offense, but when you're on defense, everything is coming easy. It's pretty much 1-2, ole, and then now they're by you going to the lane. And that's where I'm just like, that's the brand of basketball I'm used to. You got to lock up or at least try. Because, like, at some point, you're not going to stop these guys. They're too talented, too skilled. But can you make them work? And so we got our fast break, man. And the whole Jackson Dart thing, Abdul Carter situation. And I think what people need to realize, this is not your presidency of old. I think how divisive Donald Trump's rhetoric is, along with his followers and the things that they say, we're at a point now that if you're a Trump supporter, they automatically assume you're racist and you're white, or even just non-black or brown. So it's like, if you're not black or Hispanic and you're even like Hispanic people are even getting this too, and you voted for Trump, it's like, bro, you're a racist, or you're at least complicit in the racism. Where it's like with Joe Biden, George Bush, Bill Clinton, like it wasn't to that degree, or Obama, it wasn't to that degree of hatred if you voted for this person until Donald Trump, where it's like people are dead ass. It's always been a little bit of a thing. That's why you're not supposed to talk about religion and politics at work. But on a personal level, people are afraid to have these conversations because of how far left things can go. And that's where, for me, I think we need to start having that genuine conversation and stop BSing how we go about these things. It's just not as simple as, oh, who wouldn't be honored to talk for the president? No, that man is a racist. And look at the things he's done and said. And if you cool with that, I'm not cool with you. And I don't blame people for getting there. I think at a certain point here, where I'm at with it, and I'll give my opinion on it, is I don't blame people for voting for him. But at this point, how things have gone, if you're still riding for him, then at that point, that's where I'm just like, hey, bro, we can't be cool because obviously we don't see things alike, which is fine. That don't mean I hate you. I'm just not going to be spending my free time with you. You know what I mean? And so I think when we start to have these conversations, we start to make it seem like, oh, who wouldn't be honored to speak for the president? But it's like, yeah, no, this president is very divisive in the things that he says and how he goes about life. And the people that follow him are even more wild. And we got ICE. Look at the things that he's doing with the military, things that he said. It just don't make no, like, we just can't. We're just not aligned. And that's okay. But you got to stay over there. You know what I mean? I was watching this podcast, and there was some old, some vets, NBA vets, former players that were talking, and I think it was Antonio Daniels, used to play for the Sonics, the Thunder, and I remember him with the Wizards. And he was talking about how he wished the NBA would do this, and they would never do it. But it got me thinking, Should the NBA keep the same refs for the entire series? And I liked his point where different refs call games differently. And I just think that rather than trying to learn and have the nuances of, oh, well, this ref calls games like this versus this one, if we just had the same refs, there would be no inconsistencies on how the game was being called in theory. If you got the same guys making the same calls based off of the same players, I feel like it would lower the amount of mistakes that happen in the game. You know what I mean? Am I tripping? How y'all feel about it? Man, I was watching the 520 podcast, and there is a news report where there were parents who were reclassifying their eighth graders so they wouldn't go into eighth grade just yet. If let's just say I got a 13-year-old that's really good, but not quite good enough to where he's at top of his class. But if I held him back a year, he'll be at the top of his class. So I'm gonna do that. And it's like they're low-key redshirting eighth graders, and I'm not okay with it. I think that's weird. I think at a certain point, this is when we start to have certain stuff. Like I remember in high school, no shade to Buddy, but I think his name was Shabazz Muhammad. Ended up getting drafted by the Timberwolves, played for UCLA, and I believe he went to Gorman. And you start to like when you watch games and you watch them, it was like, bro, you're doing everything to go left. But I think he graduated high school at like 20 years old, 19 turning 20, like closely. And that's where, like, I think when we start to have these conversations here, we're only leading this in a wild ass path. We already got grown ass men playing in college against like high teenagers to low 20-year-olds. We got 25-year-olds going up against 19 and 20-year-olds trying to figure out why this team is winning. And this is happening in football too. You got people that's playing, they got 5 years of eligibility, 6 years of eligibility somehow. And the way that we're going, I'm not cool with it because it's like low-key taking the integrity of the game. And I think that that's where, when we start talking about the basketball gods or the football gods, it's where things here is like, hey, man, I need them to do their work because what the hell? This is not right. But redshirting eighth graders to keep them in eighth grade so they can be at the top of the next class. If it's either you're good or you're not. Like, competition is everything. If you're running from the competition, you finna go out sad. Because if you trash, you just trash. If you sorry, you just sorry. That's how I feel about that. And then two more. Caitlin Clark, the jig is up. You got to play some defense, yo. Like, yeah, we love the logo threes and the State Farm commercials. The cool ponytail, slick back ponytail with the headband. But like at this point, the antics and the lack of defense is not making up for what you contribute on the offensive end. Yes, she could sit there and go off 25 and 12, 30 and 15 type shit. But like teams are literally attacking you on defense. And you're doing the good old 1-2 ole. And we can't have that. I can't have that. That's why for me, I've always said that Leah Boss and Kelsey Mitchell are the two best players on that team. Now, if Caitlin Clark has the potential to be the best player, if not the best player in the league, she could do it. But too many damn turnovers and not playing enough defense for me, she'll never be able to be the best player in the league for me. And we're just getting to a certain point where it looks like you're uncoachable. Now, I could be wrong. I wasn't in the huddle, but I'm not in the locker room. What it looks like is you look uncoachable. I get it. Passion is passion. But like Shannon Sharp said, put some of that passion, just a smidgen. Not ask for a lot. Let's put a smidge of that passion into the defensive end. And maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation here. And then last but not least, Odell Beckham Jr. is officially a New York Giant again. Giants bring in Juju Smith-Schuster. They bring in Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ. Malik Neighbors is coming off of a knee injury, had to have another surgery to kind of clean up some things. No real timetable right now as we speak as to if he'll be back by the beginning of the season, but can he contribute to the Giants? I think that right now where we're at is we're not and the people that are caping for OBJ, nobody is saying that he is the OBJ of old. I just think he has more in the tank than you can that you would be cool with. And I personally think that, like, let's say my dad in there making mad noise. So all right, so I think 35 receptions, 600 yards, couple touchdowns. I don't think that that's a bad thing. It just he's pretty much going to be your third, fourth receiver out there. Um, Potentially your fourth, potentially your third, depending on what kind of sets you run, what the depth chart looks like. I would put him above Juju, depending on what it is that you're expecting of them. But giving him some kind of familiarity, a big name, I think that I don't have a problem with this hire. I actually kind of like it for him. Things don't work out here, at least it ended where it began for you. You know what I mean? And I do got to get up out of here, man. I appreciate y'all for watching. Sorry, my dad was out there making all types of noise. I don't know if he vacuuming, blowing up a mattress or whatnot. I think he's blowing up because we got a backyard done, and he's trying to set up something, but it was like a blow up thing. So he was using, yeah, mad loud, all in the background. But I appreciate y'all. I do got to get up out of here. Love, peace, chicken grease. Like I said before, subscribe at Juke Network, JUK Network on YouTube. Make sure you follow Juke Network on Facebook as well. Follow at Juke Sports Show on Instagram. Two Goobs episode being recorded tomorrow. We will be going live probably on my Instagram or on TikTok. But you'll be able to find that. See what I did there? You'll be able to find that at KYNGRALPH. Like I said, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Twitch, and add an underscore for X or Twitter. And I gotta get up out of here. I appreciate y'all. Oh yeah, hit up W.com too, man, for your pre-workout or your hydration packs. You know, you want it however you get out, you know what I mean? Use promo code JUKE, JUK, for 20% off, and we're gonna get up out of here. I appreciate y'all. Love, peace, and chicken grease.